Reflections on Thanksgiving. Perhaps no holiday represents togetherness more than Thanksgiving. The very word calls up cherished memories of family gatherings with aunts, uncles and cousins, grandmas and grandpas, putting aside any squabbles and feuds to enjoy each other's company around a filling feast of turkey or whatever vegetarians substitute for it, yams and pumpkin pie. During an era in which there is so much concern over family breakup and alienation, this holiday of family reunion takes on special poignancy. It is worthwhile to reflect on the origins of this holiday. The famous pilgrims of the Mayflower came to these shores seeking relief from religious persecution. History is made by fallible human beings, all of them to some extent the product of their cultures. It is true, as Dr. Frank B. Brolat, Superintendent of Public Instruction in the state of Washington, points out in an essay, that they were probably, quote, religious bigots by our modern standards, unquote. Certainly, they were far to the right of today's Christian coalition. However, as Dr. Brolat readily admits, this in no way detracts from their, quote, redeeming qualities such as bravery, unquote. The pilgrims were brave indeed, as well as lucky to find neighbors who extended a helping hand. After landing on Plymouth Rock, December 11th, 1620, they suffered a devastating winter. Out of 102 people who had set sail, 46 died. It is easy to imagine the grief those early colonists must have suffered, as well as the temptation to succumb to utter despair. Indeed, the entire band of settlers could easily have been lost. However, a Native American group whose culture encouraged hospitality and generosity helped the newcomers. The summer of 1621 saw hope rise among the pilgrims as their crops looked to be coming along extremely well. Anticipating a rich harvest, William Bradford, governor of the Massachusetts colony, authorized a festival. About 90 Native Americans joined the immigrants from Europe at the first Thanksgiving. The role of these Native Americans in helping the pilgrims survive and sharing the celebration of that survival is a point to give one pause. These immigrants from Europe were frightened and hungry strangers in a strange land. Those already here saw past differences of complexion and culture to respond to hurting fellow human beings in need. Okay, ethnic strife is a tragic fact of life throughout the world. Much of the history of European settlers and Native Americans is a shameful one of bloody fighting and cruel oppression. But it is not inevitable that different ethnic groups will abuse each other, and the first Thanksgiving is a vital reminder of that truth. At each Thanksgiving, we celebrate the courage of Europeans who braved the elements and uncertainty to find freedom together with the graciousness of the Native Americans who reached out to these newcomers in friendship. Similarly, this holiday is a time when families lay aside their personal hurts and feuds to come together in joy. Writer Natty Bumppo has wryly commented that Thanksgiving is, quote, a family reunion without a funeral, unquote. Another friend of mine, Guido Fermonte, says Thanksgiving is the only holiday that means anything to me anymore. It's yet to be over-commercialized because it has to do with gathering of friends and family over a meal rather than selling gifts. I love the smells in the kitchen, the fact that everyone wants to or at least tries to pitch in and help, and that wonderful feeling of being full at the end of the day, but still wanting another taste of the turkey, the casserole, the pie. Seems I fall in love with my family every Thanksgiving. And that's the end of the quote. We must not forget the wrongs we've done, either as a people on the large political scale or as individuals in our private lives. But we do another wrong if we focus on them so exclusively that we lose sight of our strengths. It takes work and patience, but people can get along. We can help each other, and we do. That is something to give thanks for at Thanksgiving. I hope you enjoyed that.